Welcome to the Finance Clinic where real stories meet practical solutions. Today I'm your host Elijah Kangave and I'll be interviewing an amazing guest who's well versed in finance and development of rural communities. So kindly join me as we welcome Mr. and Dr. Emmanuel.
Oh, nice to meet you.
Yes. So could you kindly tell us a brief about yourself, because you're a doctor, your background, and what led you to debt financing and development in rural communities? Because I'm sure a purpose led you there.
Oh, that's a very long one. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Yes, my name is Dr. Barya Emmanuel, and I work with rural communities. Besides, I also run a collections farm in the city, and I advise institutions on debt. Yes.
So when we talk about debt, why do people fear? Why do you think people feel fear the first time they hear the word debt? Because we all have a negative connotation, just humanly thinking. When you hear the word debt, you panic. Why do you think that's the first impression people get?
The moment you talk about debt, you're basically talking about other people's money.
Yeah.
And every time you're trying to use other people's money,
Yeah.
you're thinking about returning the money, paying it back.
Yeah.
Especially in our country, Uganda, people will be very scared about debt because of the discipline
Yeah.
that is involved when you're using debt to run your business.
Yeah.
Because when you're talking about debt here, you're talking about banks, like to a local person.
Yeah.
Talking about banks, microfinance institutions, the money lenders.
Yeah.
And debt has been there from the days of Jesus Christ. It's
Yeah.
not something very new.
Yeah.
From the days of Jesus Christ, debt has been there. And people have failed to pay debt. In my understanding is that if once you're planning to take a date, you need to plan. And you also need to have money. You need to have money of your own. You need to have your own capital so that you're financing your capital. Unless you have like a 50% and you go for a 30% for expansion. Debt is used for expansion of business. It's not supposed to be used to start a business from scratch.
Yeah.
Yes. So I think that whoever is planning to take a date, they should be thinking about expansion as a proper way of using debt.
Yeah. So may I ask you, before you got into this, what was your first mind about debt? Was it negative or was it positive? And what led to your passion in debt finance?
Debt finance sounds like a very big word. I know that at the beginning I started with financing people to borrow money. My first exposure, I worked with a brother who was already dealing in financing. And I also learned how to finance until 2009 when I got out of financing and I entered into the collections and advisory. Yes, that is my first steps into the debt. So currently, I am more into the advisory in the city, but in the rural communities, I'm more into supporting microfinance and other ventures like beekeeping that support the rural communities for empowerment.
Yeah. So you said a point earlier of not taking a loan to start a business from scratch. And that touches on a point where many people don't understand that we have people who built wealth starting from debt, but using debt as leverage. As you advise people with borrowing, I would like to see your mind on how you could teach about the leverage behind debt, because it's evident. You even see it, every country in this world has debt some way or another. And no one is debt free. But some nations like US counted as the richest nation in the world, but they're still in debt. So what would you advise and tell people that debt can help you enter into a place maybe a salary wouldn't. It can extend you to a point where a salary wouldn't.
Yes, debt is extremely good. That one, there's no doubt. It is extremely good.
Yeah.
Once you have a very good idea, all you need is finances.
Yeah.
So once you've computed your idea and you see that once I invest money here, this much, I'll be able to finance this kind of debt. You go for it.
Yeah.
And no doubt you will expand,
Yeah.
leaving other factors constant.
So could you educate me? If I want to, let's say I have a plan and I needed a bit of money. I needed a bit of cash flow. What would I require personally in order to take a debt, knowing that if I take this debt, it's not going to take me out? Like I have something to fall back on.
Once you take a date,
Yeah. So what would I require? Let's say I have a plan and I needed a bit of cash flow. I needed a bit of money. What would you advise to me in regarding to a debt? What would I need in order to apply for maybe a loan?
to start with is you should have a running business.
Yeah.
Because most financials will ask, what's your income? What's your source of income?
Yeah.
Even if you have, and some banks, even if you have a good statement, you have good security, you know, most things that are really needed to take a loan, they will still ask, what's your source of income? Is it legitimate? So that if they give you money, you will put it in that source of income, which should be your business.
Yeah.
And then you will be able to sustain the business.
Yeah.
At the same time,
Yeah.
pay the loan
Yeah.
as per the installments required.
Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
So before we leave this point, would you advise someone wants to take a loan for a mortgage? What's your view and advice on mortgages?
Most people will take a mortgage for a house. You, instead of renting every month, you decide to enjoy the good life today,
Yeah.
as opposed to waiting for 15 years of savings
Yeah.
to build your own house.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's a very bad idea, only that it will keep you in the job for a long time.
Yeah.
So if you're 25 and maybe you've just started working and you qualify for a mortgage,
Yeah.
then it means you're going to take another 20 years
Yeah.
to pay the mortgage.
Okay.
And if you get 25 plus 20 years, then you'll be 45 paying off one house.
Yeah.
Not a very bad idea. You will live a simple, comfortable life,
Yeah.
which most of us are desiring. But of course, on the side of entrepreneurship, I think that people who want to do entrepreneurship, maybe by 45 years, you've built 2, 3, 4 houses if you're doing a good business.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, because what you said about mortgages, I believe many people get mortgages to live in, but again, they don't, because you're a finance guru, many people don't understand equity. So if I get a mortgage and I have equity on that property, you expand and it helps you clear up your debt.
Yeah.
So those are positive signs of debt. So what other scenarios would you give where debt can be used as a positive sign? Because if you look at nearly every rich person in the world, they have a hand in real estate. They'll tell you about equity. They'll tell you about borrowing from banks to get a property and to have equity on that property, remove that equity and put it on another property. And as that property grows, you remove the equity and you keep expanding. And that way you keep the cycle going and flowing. So what would your advice be of using debt as an advantage in such a circumstance?
It is something that very many people are doing, especially those who are in real estate.
Yeah.
They will borrow, buy this land, build on it, then they start paying. But it works. It works faster if you have another income that will be financing your loan. But if you rely on debt entirely, because if you, for example, if you borrowed 500 million,
Yeah.
and you put up an apartment,
Yeah.
and the apartment is going to give you, say, 15 million every month,
Yeah.
then it will really take you a long time because the land title is held somewhere.
Yeah.
And in most cases, financials will require you to have a 30% deposit, 20% deposit.
Yeah.
So you must be a step somewhere for you to afford that. But if you can, definitely go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, would you advise a young person to take that?
A young person?
Yeah, a young person. Let's say a 21-year-old has a vision and but doesn't have the pockets that require that vision to be fulfilled. Would you advise him to take a debt to get fulfilled?
But yes, for example, now if you're a graphic designer, let's bring it to the small level.
Yeah.
You know you have a skill of graphic designing, you've just finished your course,
Yeah.
and you don't have 1 million shillings to buy a laptop or 2.5 million to have a very good graphics computer.
Yeah.
If someone can finance that asset for you,
Yeah.
and you find somewhere to work from, and you have that skill already, and you're disciplined, you would definitely have somewhere to start from.
Yeah.
So you will work as you pay for the laptop.
Yeah.
And I think that will launch you into the business world.
Yeah.
So I would say yes.
Yeah. Much as debt can be an advantage, can also be a negative.
Yes.
So could you touch on the negative parts of debt and what people should do to avoid getting into negative debt?
I think debt can be negative when it has been misused.
Yeah, exactly.
What are some of the ways that people are misusing debt? When you focus on small debts, like from the microfinance institutions,
Yeah.
someone will go and borrow 1 million shillings. But the moment they get this money like this, which was supposed to be for business,
Yeah.
before they reach home, they first buy meat,
Yeah.
excitement. They first pay school fees, deposit on school fees for their child. So you'll find that 50% of the debt of the money borrowed is invested
Yeah.
in the business.
Yeah.
And what happens in the long run, they are not able to meet the installments because they are now using the capital
Yeah.
to pay the debt.
Yeah. So would you say negative debt is as a resolution of lack of discipline?
Or to a bigger extent, yes. I think if it is not misused, then there will be no reason why it can be negative, especially if you borrow this money to clear goods and you go and clear the goods.
Yeah.
Then it will be helpful.
Yeah.
To go positive.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what would you advise someone who's maybe has a fixed salary and wants to maybe expand and to build on what they have? Because when you have a fixed salary, you tend to have maybe bills, and those bills are always going to take the same percentage every month, but you never have room to expand. So how would you say you would advise a salary earner to break out of the salary? Would I call it a salary curse or the salary drug?
I know that a lot of salary earners having their loan products, which they call salary loans.
Yeah.
We regard it as unsecured loan, which you get just because you work somewhere and someone is able to give you a letter of undertaking, and they say, yeah, we'll be able to pass on their terminal benefits if at all they're there, and then that's all that the bank or whoever is lending is going for. Because if you want to own a car and you're earning 2 million shillings, I don't know how long it will take you to save 40 million shillings, really. So the easiest way is go and get your car financed by your salary loan and start paying every month. If you intend to get into business in the long run, I think it is better that you keep low. You either save all your money or you borrow the money and invest it somewhere you can get a benefit. Yes.
So could you conclude with telling us, could you educate us on leverage? What is leverage? How can leverage be used?
How can leverage be used? In which context?
Because many people don't even know, or they underestimate the word leverage.
Yeah.
In every circumstance, there's also always some sort of leverage. Whether it be at work and I'm a boss and I have employees, I have a certain leverage over them. So how can maybe a salary be used as leverage? How can a loan be used as leverage to capitalize on any circumstances? Because usually salary earners are not educated on how to use salaries, but they just know they're going to pay bills. But you will see that nothing is changed. They work for the same institution for 20 years. So how can they use their salary as leverage to get maybe to make a way out for themselves and independence?
I see most salary earners passing on their monies into bonds, into buying bonds, into the unit trusts lately. I think that is also another way of growing their income.
Yeah.
Yes. And eventually they will decide where to reinvest again their money, where their passion is.
Yeah.
Yes. But in form of building your money, using your salary, you can look at other investment ventures. And some of them can be like the unit trusts and stocks and things like that.
Yeah.
Others are buying land. Yeah.
So you said, moving on, you said you're into rural development and in rural communities.
Yes.
So could we start off about the realities of rural communities?
The narratives?
Yeah, the realities of rural communities.
I had my first 12 years in the village. I lived in the rural community for the first 12 years.
Yeah.
And the reality about living in the rural communities for Uganda, Africa, is the circulation of finances is usually low. So if someone is using $5 to buy a meal, the other side it's someone's salary for a month.
Yeah.
The rural communities survive on agriculture. And me personally, I look at agriculture as the real backbone of the economy. How? You do not wake up in the rural communities early and go and prepare your garden. From preparing the garden, you plant. From planting, you weed. From weeding, you harvest. From harvesting, you need a granary as well.
Yeah.
Anyone who is not doing that is going to be regarded as poor. Because now wealth is basically, can you feed your family? Can you keep your family health? And of course, a few things like taking your kids to school. And even when it comes to healthy services, right now, people are going a lot into the health centers, modern ones. But in our days when we were born, you didn't really worry about that healthcare because you would take care of it yourself and your own family, by using herbs and any other remedy that you have. So the reality about the village is it's a free environment. That's a good thing about it. That you're not worried about your child, that they are going to fall in the road accidents, that they are going to, the only thing you're worried about is that they might be swept by a river down there. Yeah. but a village is a very good place to live. It is where most of us come from, and it is where most of us will go, even after retirement. So while many people think being in the village is poverty and dirt and all these things, life can actually be good in the villages as well. And that's why for me, I've decided to bring development to the villages. I've decided to drive it back. I've decided to drive ICT to the villages. I've decided to drive technology to the villages. I've decided to empower families to have another arm of income. And in my drive, I'm focusing on tertiary institutions. Not that I'm starting a tertiary institution, but I'm sensitizing families. That tertiary institution is very, very important. Right now, the government of Uganda has been very helpful to the families, and they every child can afford to go up to senior 4. But all they've learned is basically English, how to speak English. And you can see what is happening in the Middle East. Because these kids can speak English, they've learned how to move on their own, to take a plane and all these things. Now they can go and work in the Middle East, but that's not very admirable. Not that it's bad, but not so admirable. So if these kids got a skill, for example, if a family could afford to take a child for a welding course, for carpentry, for all these internet courses, computer-related courses, and so on and so on, then they would go to the Middle East still, if they have to, but well knowing they want to raise some money and come and start building on their skills. Maybe they will start a welding workshop. Maybe they will start a drug shop. Yeah, I think that is development. And every family where the majority have skills, it will grow.
So what are the biggest challenges you face bringing development into the villages? Because you find that many people, they're on edge. Some are ready to attack, some are not ready to receive. They feel like you've come to steal from them. What challenges do you find, and how do you tackle them?
Village communities are welcoming. They will really want to listen to you. They are welcoming. They want to hear what you've brought. I look more on the economics. I see that the major, maybe if you ask me about the two things that someone needs to focus on, I would say it is education and work. And I go teaching them that you know what, you need to send your child to school, because right now communities have made it impossible for someone who is not educated to survive. So it is a culture that every person should be educated. It is a culture that everyone should learn how to work and actually go and work. People are asking, what can I do? And that's how I come with projects, like the beekeeping project. Why beekeeping? That maybe should be another question.
So for those out there who don't know about the beekeeping strategy, could you educate them about the beekeeping strategy?
I chose beekeeping after my PhD. I needed an activity that I could use to bring development to the communities, especially the rural communities. And looking at my background and what people are going through, I think most people still struggle to take their kids for tertiary education. I see that if you have a cow, you need someone to take care of it. If you have a goat, you need someone to take care of it. You need security, you need water, you need land, you need so many factors of production. But what about beekeeping? You don't need serious security. You don't need a very big piece of land. I call them insects without borders. they can move anywhere. They can enter into someone's house. They pick what they want. They go and, produce honey. There are so many products of honey because we all know that honey is medicinal. The market for honey is not yet exhausted. But it is also healthy to take honey. So if every household can invest in honey, one is they will be healthy. Because we know that a lot of medicine, all these syrups and so on, the pharmaceutical industry really is looking for honey. But besides that, someone who is doing it just for money, all they need is maybe 10 to 100 beehives. So if someone has 100 beehives, most likely they're getting about, could say maybe 1.6. I don't know if it's 1.6, but I can compute so well. But each liter of honey can be like 20,000, 15, 20,000. So if you get 8 liters from one beehive, then you have 160,000. So if you have 10 beehives, actually you could make 1.6 million, in about 6 months. And that is a semester in a tertiary institution. So in a tertiary institution, averagely, they need 600,000. So how can you fail to send your kid to school? So you don't also have to abandon things you've been doing. You just do it as an alternative income activity. So I chose that particular area because I also know that the government is planning to get involved in mass promotion for the beekeeping activities, yes.
So let's say I'm a person in the village and I wanted to get started in beekeeping. How would you advise me to start? Where can I begin?
All you need is knowledge.
Okay.
Knowledge for beginners, because people fear bees. They look at them as dog. Okay, actually, bees are more like dogs, I think, if I have to compare the two. If you really touch a dog badly, it could bite you. But if you know how to handle a dog, the dog will be friendly. So bees are like that. Bees are so friendly. You can sit near bees and they will do nothing to you. So people need to be taught that you can associate with bees and there will be no problem. Because there are people who are saying they cannot mix bees and their animals and things like that. But there is really no problem. So the first step is sensitization, to learn about the bees. And the next one is to have a small place. Whether it's yours or not yours, you can always ask anybody to place your bees, the beehive, in that place. So we take people through how they can take care of bees, the same way you take someone through how to take care of pigs or other animals. So it is training, basically. And then someone should be able to buy a beehive. But much as in our area, we can also finance the beehive for a few people who may not be able to finance the beehives. But we can also teach people to make their own beehives locally. So it's not a sophisticated project.
Okay. So would you say your journey of finance, do you find it colliding with you in the rural development sector?
Yes, yes, it is road development, because road development, I know that there have been programs like the NADS programs. The government has fought so hard. They brought the electricity in the rural communities. They brought water in the rural communities. So you can do anything in the rural communities in these years. And now beekeeping will increase rapidly the rural development, especially if the majority of the rural dwellers pick the interest in keeping bees. Yes, it's a very big contribution.
Go back to the conversation of debt. Have you ever had any stories of people in the rural areas getting into debt? Because in the sense of we find that most people in the rural areas are not really educated. And when they hear about, I can get this amount of money just by doing this, by signing up and saying I need this amount of money. Have you ever found that story? Because there's not really much education on debt. So have you ever found a story where someone just got debt because they heard they were going to get money, but they didn't understand or need in a sense, or need that money. They just wanted to have that money because of the excitement of having that money.
Lately, it's been happening a lot,
Yeah.
especially when it comes to the money lenders. They used to be in the city or in the urban centers,
Yeah.
but now they have moved up to the rural communities.
Yeah.
And in that region where we have the project, they call it kafna, meaning that you get, you gain, or something like that when you enter into such a business.
Yeah.
And people who have entered into that kind of debt have lost their land, their homes, because they did not plan to get debt.
Yeah.
Yes, they didn't plan for it. They didn't invest it wisely, and at the end, they lost their properties. And because of that cry, a few policies have changed about microfinance, and I think now we have a new act that is addressing all these issues. Yes.
Okay. So bottom line is, people in the rural areas would require certain education about debt finance, getting into debt, why you would get into debt, instead of having, instead of getting debt and then losing what you own.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Emmanuel,
Yes, please.
could you give us a small biography of what led you to become a doctor, what led you to pursue a PhD, and your background education story?
Yes, I did my PhD in public policy and administration, and particularly in debt. Yes, particularly in debt. And I developed interest in debt because debt can make you or break you. And debt is a public need. It is a need that everyone will pick interest in.
Yeah.
So I just thought that if I come up with policies, I can support maybe the government with policies surrounding debt and to solve problems relating to debt, because the government is working tirelessly to manage that. Partly, debt is in both public and private. Of course, public is more to do with the government itself. And the private, I'm focusing more on the private debt because partly that's where the work is as well, especially in my area of collections.
Yeah.
So I just thought that I can support the government to align the habits that people have in debt and the debt financing with policy. Yes.
So, as a PhD holder, would you say education is the route to success? Because we live in Uganda where we're a bit still old school. And the Western world, they're pouncing on skills like AI, and they're more exposed to things like coding. So, would you say education is the route to success, or what would you say is the route to success? And what would you tell maybe a young person and a parent out there who's forcing their child to be maybe a doctor or a lawyer, and the child doesn't want to comply with that?
In my personal observation, I think success is highly contributed by discipline, more than all these other things. So whatever you're doing, you just need to be disciplined, whether you're selling tomatoes, whether you're a fishmonger, or if you're going to be successful in what you do, you just need discipline. Discipline to wake up early, discipline to sleep late, discipline to trust into your thoughts and believe in your thoughts. And know that whatever you're thinking, you own it and believe in it and work out and do it. Yeah.
So, what challenges would you say you've faced in your success story becoming Dr. Emmanuel today?
Financing can be one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, financing, because there are very many people who have ideas, but they keep saying, I do not have the finances. And in reality, the finances may not be there, but you have to learn how to continue pursuing your dream. Because it wasn't as easy for me, but I sacrificed so much to achieve the doctorate, yes.
Okay. So, going into the quick fire round, I prepared a few quick fire questions for Dr. Emmanuel. So the quick fire segment, I will say is maybe a statement or a question, and you explain it within like a few words to a sentence. Yeah. So I'll begin with, what is one word you would describe rural communities?
Rural communities?
Yeah, one word to describe rural communities.
Oh, beautiful places.
Okay. What's the biggest myth about rural development?
Poverty.
What's one policy you'd make tomorrow?
Make tertiary education free.
Oh. A habit every young leader should build.
Are happy?
A habit every young leader should build.
Do it now.
Do it now. So a book, quote, or idea that inspires your work.
Think and grow it. Think and grow rich. Napoleon Hill.
Think and grow rich.
Yes.
Your definition of real empowerment.
Education.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you had unlimited funding and you were in Uganda today, what would be the first project you'd begin?
If I had unlimited capacity,
Yeah, unlimited funding.
one project I would begin,
Yeah,
I think it would be food supply.
food supply.
Yeah.
Yes, very true. One skill for people in youth in rural areas to master.
One trick.
One skill for youth in rural areas to master.
Faith.
Faith. And then giving closing remarks. What would your closing remarks to be to someone out there? It could be an adult, a youth, a parent, a grandparent. What would your advice be to them?
I would advise anybody who is out there that master discipline and do not forgive yourself. Even when you don't feel like doing it, just stand. Walk out. Trust in your thoughts and actualize your thoughts.
Thank you, Dr. Emmanuel. It was a great pleasure hosting you. And today I've learned quite a lot. I've learned about debt. And I feel like now my head is leaning more on the positive side regarding to debt. And you've taught me how to survive in a rural community, beekeeping, agriculture. That's the biggest thing, bloom in rural areas. So I would like to, first of all, conclude with thanking you for availing time to be with you. And we look forward to having you again.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much.